Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your very first gameplay and overview of the Leopard 2A7HU straight from the Seek and Destroy dev server. That's right, this is a currently rank 8 battle rating 11.7 medium/main battle tank in the Hungarian sub-tech tree, sitting at the end of it as a matter of fact, which is in the larger Italian ground forces tech tree. And the crazy thing about this vehicle is that once it gets released, assuming everything stays the same, and bear in mind, on the dev server, everything can change on here, including the modeling, the stats, everything that you could think of, up to and even beyond the release of this major update. So you want to bear that in mind. But if everything stays the same, the Italians will officially have the best Leopard 2 in War Thunder. Absolutely bonkers to say that, but they will, and there's two big reasons for this. One, this has a 50 cal HMG, which is actually a really nice force multiplier in some ways versus helicopters, versus light tanks, because LMGs typically just do not do the job. And also, this weighs 65.1 tons, whereas the German 2A7, 66.5 tons. And I've been trying to look around here. I'm not sure exactly where that difference comes from. So as you can see, the 2A7 in the German ground tech tree has mine protection, and in the Italian ground tech tree, I also have mine protection equipped. So I'm not entirely sure where that comes from. I've been looking all over the place for a difference. This has a spall liner. This has the same exact amount of armor. It's got the same engine. Everything is the same on this thing. It even has the same amount of ammo. So I'm not sure where that 1.5 or so tons of difference comes from with the Leopard 2A7 AV in the German ground tech tree. But again, anything can change up through the server, so you never know. That could be fixed or changed, and then they could have equal weight. But either way, this still has the 50 cal HMG, which is tremendously useful, and again, helps to make this arguably the best 2A7, or the best Leopard 2 in all of War Thunder. So that said, let's get into a few matches, test this baby out, have a good time with it. Oh, and by the way, of course, it does have DM53, so again, it is equivalent with the 2A7. And I will be removing the mine protection just because I don't find that to be all too... Oh, and look at that. The mass goes up to 67.5 tons. So again, there are some issues with the dev server, and then it goes down to 65.1 tons. So I'm not entirely sure, and that's after you equip the mine protection. So maybe I'll be leaving mine protection on. But that said, let's get into a few matches, see what we could do, and hope that the dev server isn't much more wonky than this. Let's get into it. So, as I stated before, this is the dev server, so you want to bear that in mind. There aren't really a ton... Actually, there are a good amount of players in here. Wow. I'm kind of surprised. But even still, it's not a full roster of enemies and teammates as well. So, the amount of actual kills might be a bit limited in this, but it will at least show you. Now, when it comes to this vehicle also, it is still going to function more or less identically to the... Ooh, that is an actual enemy. Okay, want to go for him first because he knows where I am. And then I can go for this guy because he's not paying attention. But this is pretty much going to function identically to... Ooh, that's not good. Maybe he doesn't turn around that quickly. And he won't be able to get me. Yay. But this is more or less, again, I keep saying it, going to function identically to the 2A7. That's just kind of how it is. And, you know, it's just really, again, with the inclusion of that 20 or the HMG up top, that does help. But it's not going to be like this thing where it's like automatically... Ooh, because it depends. It's not going to help where it's, you know, a god tank all of a sudden. Yeah, it does increase its armament overall. I'd probably give it like an extra quarter point for armament because of that. And again, technically speaking, it does make this the best. Ooh, wow. It does make this the... Oh, wow, that's been their spawn point. I wasn't even looking at that. But it does make this the best Leopard 2 in-game. However, again, you have to remember that... you know, it could also have that weight discrepancy that I showed you before. This could actually end up weighing more, which would make sense because it has the cannon up here and it's automated as well. It could end up weighing more than the 287V in the German ground tech tree once this actually comes to the live server, again, because of that weird discrepancy that I discovered right before we went live with the matches. So, you never know what's going to happen, really. Okay, and we have ourselves a kill versus a World War II tank, because of course, I mean, if I wasn't getting a World War II tank kill, what would this be? Ooh, let's see how this guy knocked me out. And again, the whole point of the dev server is so that you guys could see the strengths and weaknesses of these vehicles before they go live. And so, he shot me exactly where I would have expected. Weak side armor, that makes a lot of sense. So that's it. Let's get into another match and, I guess, test this thing out a little bit more. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, just by me driving around here, but they've really heavily reworked the Tunisia map, which is pretty cool. I mean, it looks nice, in my opinion. It will be an interesting change once it goes to the live server. I don't think it's a bad thing that they did it. It's just I don't know how it's going to function once it goes live with actual players, because, as you can see, I've got 2 enemies. That's it. 2 actual enemies. Everyone else is a bot. Now, when it comes to gameplay on the dev server, I always say, every single time, like, this is dev server gameplay, right? Like, the vehicles aren't finished. I'm not fighting a full roster of enemies. It's just a somewhat limited thing that we have here. It looks like that might be an actual enemy tank, like an actual player. That might be 2. No, I doubt it. But we have a first strike, so that kind of makes me think that that's not an actual player here. But ultimately, when it comes to this vehicle, it's good. Don't get me wrong. And again, depending on what the weight is once it actually goes live, I feel like this vehicle, the 2A7HU, could actually be, simply because of this 50 cal, weapon system, station, whatever you want to call it. I feel like it could actually end up being the best the best Leopard 2 in War Thunder. Again, it's just so difficult to tell, though, here on the dev server, especially when we don't actually know what the weight is. You know? We unfortunately have no idea what the weight of this vehicle is going to be, and, you know, an extra ton or two, that could make a big difference when it comes to overall mobility and whether or not somebody actually likes this vehicle, you know? I'm sure there are actually tons of people where if they could attach or detach a modification that gave them this weapon station, and it weighed like an extra 1.5 tons, they'd probably just say, I don't want it, you know? There's probably a healthy amount of people that would just detach it if they could. So, I'm not entirely sure, you know, if he can maintain this weapon station and also get the lower weight, awesome. This is going to be a really, really good variant of the 2A7. And again, in my opinion, technically the best Leopard 2 in-game. However, time will have to tell. Okay, so I don't know if there's really anyone else on the enemy team. I can't find anybody, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. I got killed by the other guy on the enemy team. Right when I say it. Funny how that works. Let's see, and another side shot. That's going to be eternally the weak spot for this vehicle. Let's just respawn and I guess end the gameplay with that. Never be this guy. He goes, hey idiot, instead of going for the AI, kill the 2 idiots that jumped me. What do you think I was doing? I don't just go for AI, I hate going for AI. Ah! What a toxic, like, I hate to use the word toxic so much because of the people that tend to use it. They have no idea what they're talking about. Oh, it's a toxic workplace. It's, you know, but ultimately, damn, that may as well be a toxic waste dump right here in words. Hey, idiot. Like, come on, give me a break, my man. Oh, I think I found him. And I did. Look at that. Are you happy now? Kasumi? Oh, he's got the 2A4M. He must be one of the people who pre-ordered. That's unfortunate for him. Anyways, I think that probably about does it. I mean, like I said, this is pretty much just a 2A7V with a 50 cal on top, which itself is pretty much a 2A6 with more armor, which itself is pretty much a 2A5 with a better gun. You know, so I mean, it really is what it, I mean, there's only so much you could say about this vehicle without having a proper review, without having this thing in a live server, you know, and all that. And who knows? Maybe I'll be doing a stock display on this video once it comes out in the live server. But either way, thanks so much for watching. This guy keeps getting killed by this jabroni. Maybe you shouldn't be buying a premium tank at top tier. Maybe that's it. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, don't buy... And seriously, like, when I say this, I mean it. Don't buy a premium top tier tank if you have no experience at all anywhere near top tier. It's a terrible idea. You will get wiped out, even on a dev server like this guy. But I guess we can continue being idiots and going for these World War II AI tanks. Instead of going for the guy that jumped him. Ah, man. There's very few things that will get me salty, but that's one of them. Just being a douche. I know, that's an Abrams. I got you. Anyways, now, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone. The Leopard 2A7HU Hungary is pretty damn solid.